Your ideal client and your ideal man are waiting for you to be the fullness of who you actually are in your deepest fulfillment, in your deepest aliveness, in your deepest wholeness. But it starts with you. When you uncover how to follow your own fulfillment and your own pleasure and creating a business and a life you really love, you call in the clients, the relationships, and the friendships that are a match for that. Sometimes, in the name of building success, we lose sight of what makes us really happy. And I want to be able to help you with creating a life that feels beautiful, nourishing, rich for you. Welcome to the Worth It podcast. I'm Megan Taylor, coach for the brilliant minds and the rare ones who are always growing. I have helped ambitious women and men, business owners and leaders from around the world with defining and expanding their unique work, having the relationship that they actually want, and creating the life that makes all of the work feel worth it. Every week on the podcast, we discuss the key pivots that I coach my clients on and the real work required in order to be a leader and the woman or the man that you're here to be. With that, let's get started. Hi, love. Welcome back. Today we are trying on some new false eyelashes, these little individual ones. Let me know what you think if you think they're cute. I'm having my baby shower soon and I'm thinking about wearing them. I'm really excited for today's conversation. We are going to be talking about the way that your relationship patterns and relationship wounds can end up showing up in your business and capping your growth. I often teach relationship and business together because, as I say, business is relationships. If you think about it, business is built off of trust with your customers. And a lot of that comes down to self-trust and also just your general relationship dynamics with others. So one of the things that I invite you to look at is to take a look at the quality of the relationships in your life. What are your relationships like with your friends, with your partner, with your kids? A lot of that is going to tell you something about the status of your relationships within your business as well, whether it's with your clients or with your team members. And so we want to get you to a place where you are loving your business, you're loving the clients that you're working with, you are getting paid for bringing your highest work to the table, the business is growing, and you're living a life that you love where you're connected into positive relationships, you feel supported, you have good mentors around you, you have a team that you can count on, and you have a relationship that feels really juicy and really just full of love, connection, depth, and richness for you. And all of these things are interconnected. We're going to be talking more about this in my new Wealthy in Womanhood Mastermind, by the way, which is in pre-sale at the moment. So in the Wealthy in Womanhood Mastermind, it's going to be 6 weeks of accelerated, almost one-on-one. It's kind of like a hybrid opportunity for being supported by moi. For 6 weeks, you come onto Zoom and we talk about what it looks like for you to step into next level passion for your work, the work that you're actually here to do, the clients you're actually here to serve, what you're actually here to charge, and the pivots that you're being called to make. This is perfect for the woman who has already created a certain level of success and now you are ready to take it to the next level, but you've done it by the book before and you're ready to do it in a different kind of way where you're really falling in love with your work again. I want you to love all of the different meetings that you have on your calendar on the day-to-day basis. I want you to feel like you are in charge of your calendar and not the other way around. I want you doing the work that you love doing, and that may be a combination of different things. And also elevating your prices to the level that they're meant to be so that you can bring your highest level to your highest level clients. That's the first part, is about your business and getting really clear on where you're being called to shift there so that you can grow the business, but also love what you're growing. So that's the business side. We're also going to talk about deeper relationships. Many successful women, they end up having certain particular challenges when it comes to relationships. You know, how do you bring in the money? How do you be this like badass who has a lot of success, but also allow yourself to be able to be supported, to connect at a heart level, to let go of control, to soften, and to really come into union with a man that you love and adore. And oftentimes, a lot of successful women, they are attracted to being with men who are also leaders, But how do you do that? How do you get into a power couple dynamic? We're going to talk about how do you be the match for calling that in. And then lastly, creating a life that feels wealthy in all areas. So this isn't just about money, but it's about creating a rich, deeply fulfilling life and really getting clear on what does success look like for you. Because I know that when you first started this career, you started this business, you had a vision of making an impact, having a life of freedom, of a life that feels juicy and where you feel really connected to yourself. Sometimes, in the name of building success, we lose sight of what makes us really happy. And I want to be able to help you with creating a life that feels beautiful, nourishing, rich for you. So, we're going to cover all of that in a 6-week period. And you're going to get my eyes on what's going on in your life and in your business. And I will hold you accountable to the shifts you're being called to make. So come into this space if you're ready to get super honest about what you want and also to take new action to be accountable to what you say that you want. The details on that are in the show notes, and you can also reach out to me for early bird pricing on Instagram at Megan W. Taylor. We can talk about whether the mastermind is a good fit for you or one-on-one is a good fit for you. Both are great options. It just depends on what kind of a support environment you really thrive in. Today, we are going to be talking about common relationship patterns and relationship wounds that I see when I work with successful women, whether they're entrepreneurs, CEOs, startup co-founders, corporate women, executives. Many of the women that I work with who are high achievers, high performers, we have similar relationship patterns, dynamics, and yes, intimacy wounds that we need to look at. And when you clean these up, you're going to find that it's so much easier to grow your business, and you're going to grow a business that you actually love and a life that feels deeply rich for you. I'm going to give you some of the behind the scenes of some of the most common things that I coach my private clients on. And you can see if these are things that you see showing up in your life. One of the most common things that I see showing up is women who have this core fear of being abandoned or left behind. It could be because there's been a significant loss in your life at some point. It could be because you had a parent who wasn't fully present. It could be because there was an experience around maybe losing money in the past and that visceral fear of being left behind. And so the consequence of this, like when it's feeling really alive in you and it hasn't been fully dealt with yet, is that it can end up feeling crunchy whenever there's a concern that you might lose a client or might lose money. Okay, so let's take the client one, for example. You could have a client that you've been working with for a long time, or maybe you just started working with them. You're realizing that it's actually not a great fit or the work is feeling really heavy, but you don't want to rock the boat and tell them the truth of what it is that you need from them, or to tell them that this is no longer a good fit or things like that, because there's that fear of how they might respond. You don't want to upset, you don't want to disappoint. I talk with a lot of women who they've learned to like not be a problem. And so this can end up with a lot of kind of good girl and people pleasing behavior where you try to keep people happy that are actually not meant to be in your life. It's hard when this happens because I truly believe it's like there's different people that are well matched for different types of people. And not every client that's willing and ready to give you money is your ideal client. It also comes down to having similar values, being somebody who's here to show up and do the work, being somebody who invests and pays on time because they have integrity, right? And just because you have clients, and I'm not saying to not be grateful for clients, but we also want to make sure to call on clients that are people that you really love working with, and to be open to the idea that you're not for everybody. And that can be hard if you have a fear of leaving people behind. It can also manifest that way, or a fear of other people leaving you and how you deal with that separation, especially when you're offering a service that is intimate and has like long-term relationships. It really can, like, you'd be surprised, but it really can bring up some of these old things that might activate within of how you respond when people come and go in your life, or when money comes and goes in your life. And true freedom happens when you realize, like, You're okay whether a client comes or goes. You're okay whether money comes and goes. You know how to create fulfillment and happiness for yourself. You know how to stay focused on doing the work you're here to do for the people that you're here for. You know that when a client leaves, that another one is ready to take their place. And we can't always control the timeline, but we have to be willing to let go of what is not for you so that what is for you can enter. And the same thing applies in relationships as well. Sometimes we continue to invest in a relationship that's no longer actually a good fit in this season, but we hang on because we want to do due diligence. We don't want to give up on something that we've invested a lot of time into. And sometimes we need to let go of what's not a fit so that what is a fit can enter. And I'm not saying that you need to go break up with whoever you're with right now. Sometimes it's like letting go of an old expectation of how a relationship should be so that the higher virtues of the person that you're with can come forward by not trying to hold them to be somebody that they aren't, right? When we accept clients and we accept our partner with where they're currently at, we're actually able to develop an even deeper relationship where they're able to show up with the highest aspects of who they are because you're not forcing them to give you something that they're not able to give you, at least not from the frame that you're currently approaching it. There's a lot that goes into that type of leadership, which is really what it is it's about coming into acceptance of like what people can and cannot offer you, and to really accept that and allow people to evolve, allow people to come and go without clinging or trying to control the situation. And when you do that, there's so much freedom in being able to match with the right types of clients, bring in aligned money, and have the type of romantic partnership that is truly aligned to you in terms of your values, your vision, and where you're headed. We really want to take a look at how these fears of abandonment or fears of being left behind or leaving other people behind might be unnecessarily constricting your business and your life. So that's area number one. Okay, so the second common relationship pattern or wound that I see that is really common among successful women is this fear of not being good enough. At some point in life, we pick up different templates for what good enough looks like, whether it's religious templates of looking like where motherhood or wifehood looks a particular way, whether it's a template of what success looks like maybe success looks like working really long hours, or success looks like sacrifice. It can be you receive a template of being wealthy needs to look a particular way, like wealth looks like having a Hummer, wealth looks like owning multiple homes. And sometimes wealth can look like that, but also wealth can look like deep fulfillment. It can look like access to options that you wouldn't normally have. As you're going about being a wife, being a mother, being a business owner, it's so easy when we've seen these different templates of what success looks like that we hold ourselves in judgment to whether we're meeting the bar. We also do this like with our health and with our bodies, like, oh, I should be 10 pounds less than what I currently am. Oh, I'm failing because I'm not making it into the gym more than twice a week right now. And it ends up getting really heavy because you're constantly evaluating yourself against this expectation of what you should be. The problem with that is not only is it not fun to be living it with a lot of judgment on a day-to-day basis, but you actually end up also judging your business and judging your clients based off of these same types of expectations. When really, like in a sense, your business has a life of its own. You are here not to be good enough to somebody else's expectation. You are here to grow into your highest creation. It's like an acorn is meant to become an acorn tree. An acorn is not going to judge itself based on its ability to be an apple tree. A lot of times we judge ourselves based off of the templates that we've received when really you're here to align to a very particular way of flourishing, both in your wealth and your business and as a woman, and what success looks like and what true wealth looks like for you. And so The inner work is about taking off the judgment of how it should look and to start reconnecting to what it is that you actually want. What do you actually want for your business? What do you actually want in your life? What makes you feel those deep levels of fulfillment? Who are you here to be? What's the work that you're here to bring to the world? When your money is capped and not going up, it is oftentimes not just a business strategy problem, but deeper than that, there's a lack of clarity that's coming from a lack of motivation because you don't actually want to do the business that you're doing. You're here to pivot it, which is a big part of why I created the Wealthy Womanhood Mastermind so that you can get reconnected to the work that is most fulfilling for you, the clients you actually want to work with, and to have full permission to let go of expectations of how it should look and to find your aligned way that feels like freedom to you, that feels like wealth to you, that feels like you're being the woman and the leader that you're here to be. But the only way we can do that is by letting go of judgment of how it should look and to get down to what it is that you actually want as a woman and a business owner. A lot of the women that I work with, they struggle with these feelings of inadequacy and not being good enough, but it's because you're playing the wrong game. You're trying to play somebody else's game of what success looks like, and you need to play your own game, get in your own lane, create your own rules. And when you do that, your income is going to take off. You're going to call in a new kind of client. Your relationship evolves because you're not being this false self. You're being who you're authentically here to be and not holding yourself in judgment, but bringing the fullness of who you are, the fullness of your gifts to the table. Your ideal client and your ideal man are waiting for you to be the fullness of who you actually are in your deepest fulfillment, in your deepest aliveness, in your deepest wholeness. But it starts with you. When you uncover how to follow your own fulfillment and your own pleasure and creating a business and a life you really love, you call in the clients, the relationships, and the friendships that are a match for that. And so the way that we do that in my world is because so much of this stuff is relational, we do it relationally, one-on-one through one-on-one mentorship, where you can come as you are, you can share how you're authentically feeling about your business and your life. And I'm going to hold you with so much love. And I'm also going to tell you what it is that you are being called to shift, that's ready to shift in your business and your life. So you can let go of some of these old ways of being that are limiting, where you're afraid of what other people might think, or that of the loss that might happen if you become as powerful as you're actually here to be. Like, you're not actually afraid of failure, you're afraid of your bigness, your greatness. And I'm here to help you fan the flames on that and create a supportive space with myself, or if you're in the women's mastermind, where you get to really uncover what it looks like for you to create wealth in a way that deeply honors your gifts and who you're here to be and invites in the right types of clients and relationships in your life who love you exactly as you are. But that means coming from those states of wholeness. And we do that relationally. So whether that's one-on-one or in a mastermind space. This is super deep and powerful work, but it is highly transformative. And it's a combination of the spiritual and the practical. When we do the deep inner work, you end up evolving who you are and then evolving your business to match. So if you know that your next levels in business and in life as a whole have everything to do with you actually getting in alignment with yourself and getting even more honest about what it is that you want, then I may be the mentor for you, or the Wealthy and Womanhood Mastermind space might be perfect for you. If you want help with identifying whether or like what is a good fit for you, just reach out to me on Instagram. Don't hesitate. My Instagram is at Megan W. Taylor. And you can send me like one-on-one or mastermind, or tell me your key takeaway from today's episode, and I can help you with figuring out which space is going to be most supportive to meet you exactly where you are at, so that you can do and create the shifts that you're being called to make in your life and in your work, so that you can have the fulfillment that you're here to experience beyond the shoulds, beyond who you've been told to be, and be like the powerful woman who gets to have it all. We get to do it. We get to do both. We get to make money and have wealth, both financial as well as the life that makes you feel rich, and also be deeply, fully, and wholly Woman, which is about really stepping into next levels of grown womanhood. So if you want to know the keys of how successful women are doing this without compromising on themselves and coming from a place of sacrifice, but coming from a place of thriving and loving their work and loving the life that they're living, come hang out, message me on Instagram, and we can talk about finding the perfect fit for you. Okay? Talk to you soon. See you on the next episode. Hi, lovely. Really quick before you go, it would mean the absolute world to me if you found value in today's episode, if you would take a minute to leave a 5-star review for the podcast. This is going to help other powerhouses like you to be able to find it. Also, I love interacting with my listeners, so I would love to know more about what you thought about today's episode. If you take a screenshot and share it to your Instagram stories and tag @MeganW.Taylor, it's going to notify me, and I actually love to reshare your posts with my audience as well. With that, thank you so much for being a listener, and I'm wishing you a beautiful, productive, happy, sexy, lucrative week, and I will see you on the next episode.